It's Patrick Hutzel from Intensive Care at Home, where we provide tailor-made solutions for long-term ventilated adults and children with tracheostomies by improving their quality of life, and where we also provide tailor-made solutions to hospitals and intensive care units to save money and resources whilst providing quality care. In the last blog I shared long-term ventilation with tracheostomy. Finally, a sustainable care model is emerging. You can check out last week's blog by clicking on the link below this video. In this week's blog I want to share with you an article that was first published on the 8th of January 2016 in the United States on SeattlePie.com. The article talks about that a federal judge in the United States has ordered the state to pay for home care for long-term ventilator dependent and chronically ill children with tracheostomies. The ventilator dependent and chronically ill children who have been hospitalized for many months are unable to leave hospital due to the lack of state funding for home care, whilst an intensive care bed costs the state $5,000 per bed day, as highlighted in the article. The issues are not new and are similar to the issues in Australia and other first world countries, where departments of health, private health funds and other health funding agencies continue to fund $5,000 per bed day for ICU beds for long-term ventilated adults and children with tracheostomies instead of funding cost-effective home care with specialized services like intensive care at home. The article highlights that in-home care is cheaper for the state and safer for the children, but due in part to low pay rates to nursing providers has been hard to come by. 5 children and their families sued the state in September in an effort to force a change. One of the children, sadly, has since died, but dozens of other young Washington children appear to face a similar threat of unnecessary hospitalization. The article further highlights that the state must ensure the delivery of these services and they cannot delegate away their responsibilities. Contrasting home care with hospitalization, the difference in cost is extreme. Mary Bridge Children's Hospital in Tacoma reported that room and board alone costs at least $5,000 a day for a sick child. The same amount could pay for round-the-clock care from a registered ICU nurse for 4 days at the private insurance pay rate. Please check out the link to the original article below in the written version of this blog. If you're watching this video on YouTube, you can find the link to our website and to the article there. Thank you so much for tuning into this week's blog, and I also want to highlight that we have vacancies currently for enthusiastic and experienced intensive care nurses with a critical care certificate for ventilated patients in Melbourne. We would also like to hear from you if you have a minimum of 2 years pediatric ICU experience, as we have opportunities here as well. You can also leave your comments on the blog. Thank you for tuning into this week's blog, and I'll see you again in another update next week. You can also contact me if you have any questions, if your hospital is thinking about sending one of your long-term ventilated patients home, or if you have a family member in intensive care who's thinking about going home on a ventilator. Thank you for tuning into this week's blog. This is Patrick Hutzel from Intensive Care at Home, and I'll see you again next week in another update.